What's up, everybody? Welcome back to our Week 12 recap video. Here we are after another great week of football. A lot of great fantasy performers, a lot of great stuff to talk about. But without further ado, we want to tell you to go like, comment, subscribe, and next things next. Here I am with my my partners in crime, Cameron and Sterling.
Yes, sir.
And we're ready to talk some football. So
we are.
You guys ready to get straight into it?
Of course.
Let's do it.
Of course.
So our first matchup for today is the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cincinnati Bengals. If you guys recall last week, Sterling said T. Higgins game.
Yep, T. Higgins game.
And T. Higgins, it was indeed.
It was indeed a T. Higgins game. You know, he played, let's see, what was his final stat line from that game?
Jeez. Man, 6 for 114 and a TD.
Sheesh. That is very good.
Really the only thing worth noting from a receiving end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had 20 fantasy points and half-point PPR. Jamar Chase, on the flip side, did not perform as well as we wanted him to. He came out of there with 5 fantasy points, 5.7. It was a T. Higgins game.
Absolutely.
They just were not looking his way. People are a little worried about Jamar Chase's output. The last few weeks has been just mediocre. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean, at this point, it's just, it's just taking turns with T. Higgins, you know what I mean? It's going to be hard it's looking like it's hard to guess who's going to pop off each week. They're both capable of doing it, but it reminds me of like a Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce situation. If one of them does bad, the other one's going to pop off.
I mean, not to mention, Joe Mixon did pop off. He was 5th in points this week with 30 fantasy points.
It was also the Joe Mixon show, for sure.
They were handing him the ball almost the entire game because they were ahead so far.
Yeah, he had 28 carries.
Yeah, when you have 28 carries, things are going to go your way.
Yes.
Joe Burrow, do you guys feel like he had a solid performance last week?
He did what he had to do. Other than the interception, he completed a vast majority of his passes. He did have that cheese rushing touchdown. That
definitely did save his day.
Yeah, that did save
Without
his
it,
day.
it's an 11-point outing, but with that rushing touchdown, it makes it pretty nice.
Yeah.
17 points is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah.
If you streamed them and you had say Kyler Murray out or Patrick Mahomes, you're like, okay, I'll take it. You know what I mean?
It's not hurting you that much.
No. On the Steelers side of the ball, Najee Harris, I have him in the whole lot of mid category with 5.2 points. So that's not what you really want from your number one back, Najee Harris. He just seemed to be phased out during the game, if that makes sense. If we like to talk about his high floor, and we talk about how the ball constantly flows through him. Yeah. But they were so far behind that they were just playing football and not handing it to Najee Harris.
They were just playing football.
They're not very good football at that either.
I was going to say, very in-depth analysis there.
They were playing some bad football, and they weren't even trying to get Najee Harris started throughout the game. So, if we're looking at it, it is what it is. Next week, you'll probably still be starting him because it was just a one-time thing. I feel like.
Other than that, he's very reliable.
Yeah, he really is. What did Ben Roethlisberger finish with?
Oh boy,
that's
all you need to know. No, he did give the other team the ball twice. So he had 2 INTs.
Compared to how many touchdowns? 1?
Only 1.
Okay.
And then the completion percentage was not very good.
Yeah, how many passes did he throw?
He threw a whopping 41 passes.
You see, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And who is their leading receiver this week?
Deontay Johnson. He had 9 for 95.
Touchdown or no?
No touchdown.
So, I mean, they did only put up 10 points, and that touchdown did go to Pat Freiermuth.
Yes, it did.
So it was just a bad game for the Steelers, and there's really nothing else to talk about in that game. So let's get straight to the next matchup.
Yeah.
You guys want to talk about the Bucks Colts?
Ah, yes.
Yes, let's talk about the Bucs
So,
Colts.
as always, away team first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tom Brady, he had a lackluster 15 fantasy points.
Mm-hmm.
That's not usually Tom Brady numbers this year. It's bless you. He
Yes.
seems to be. It was that one game. I don't know. It was one hiccup game. He only 15 fantasy points.
Yeah.
It happens.
It happens.
It happens.
It does happen.
Now,
Leonard
Fournette.
He had a big stat line this week. He had 40. He had 40 fantasy points. Number 1 in fantasy football this week.
Yeah.
Yep. Number 1 running back.
Number 1.
This is pretty much the first time that we've seen him have a crazy blow-up game on the Buccaneers. He's had some solid games, but this is his first big blow-up game on the Buccaneers.
It was.
Yeah. And then one Robert Gronkowski, baby.
So, yeah, you were talking last week, like, you know what? He needs a touchdown.
Yeah.
And you know what he did this week? He just caught all yards.
He turned back the clock.
He had all yards last week, and that's the funniest thing about it.
You said T. Higgins game. I said go pick up Gronk. Now, I said go pick him up in hopes of a touchdown, but hey, if you went and picked up Gronk, you're pretty happy that he turned back the clock.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
How did Mike Evans play?
That's all you need to know. Yeah, I was very disappointed. I mean, my team still won, but I wasn't expecting that.
Chris Godwin, not great either.
Yeah. Gronk got all the work. Let's just say that
the ball went through Gronk.
Yeah, the ball was going through Gronk. Brady and Gronk.
They got that connection.
They put their New England uniforms on for sure.
They seen the Patriots playing well, and they're like, you know what? We
You
need
know
to
what?
try to compare a little
Yeah.
bit. You know what I mean? On the Colts, Jonathan Taylor, he had that touchdown at the end of the day that kind of like really boosted his point total.
Yeah.
For a little while, he was at like 12 or 13 fantasy points.
I was gonna say even without the touchdown, I mean, you still get 10 to what'd you say 13?
Yeah, 13.
I mean, it's 16 for 83. That's nothing to scoff at.
No, and I'm pretty sure he got a few catches out of the backfield this week.
I'm pretty sure Jonathan Taylor.
No?
It
Yeah,
doesn't.
4 for 14.
Wait, it says it right there. Oh, 4 for.
Okay.
Well, it was really nothing worth
And
noting.
PPR, it's a nice little boost for those 4 receptions.
Yeah.
He had a good game.
Yeah.
The Colts did fight. They were trying to win that game pretty hard.
I mean, Carson Wentz, he turned the ball over twice, and they still only lost by 7.
Michael Pittman this week had 7.3 fantasy points. That's a floor game for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like he could have done a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You could do a lot worse than 7.3.
Yeah, for sure.
How did their tight ends look this week? Mo Alley, Cox.
Jack Doyle was one of the top tight ends.
How many fantasy points?
I'm not sure exactly,
He had,
but he was one of the top tight ends.
Doyle had 6 for 81.
Oh wow!
With a touchdown.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that is very nice.
And he was the leading receiver.
Yeah.
Turning back the clock. That is Jack Doyle. That is turning back the clock indeed.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we talked about him. What was that, like 3 years ago? Jack Doyle. We were like, you know what? Jack Doyle, man, that dude looks good. And then fast forward, he had one blow-up game this week. Let's go.
Let's go.
On to the next, my boys.
What were we looking at? Did we want to address
The Panthers versus the Dolphins?
Indeed.
Of course. So,
starting with the away team.
Starting with the away team. I first like to mention this. This was a very, very bad game for the Carolina Panthers in multiple ways. First things first, Christian McCaffrey.
R.I.P. any Christian McCaffrey owners.
He went on the IR yesterday. If you guys were paying attention to the reports after the game, it was like, oh, he may not miss time. He had a bye week next week, and then coming off the bye, they're like, oh yeah, he may not miss any time. He should be able to play. And then fast forward, it's we put him on the IR, and he's done for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and then Cam Newton was just, I mean, we talk about the rushing touchdown cheese. That couldn't even help him.
No.
No.
He had a whopping 3.8 fantasy points this week.
Yeah.
Along with being benched, it sounds like the great combination right there, man.
Yeah. The only bright spot was one DJ Moore.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me 2 for 2 on pickups right there.
2 for 2? Well,
Yeah.
that was our starts.
Yeah. Those are our starts
were those
of the week.
starts?
Yes.
Oh, my bad. I'm all over the place.
So
I did say you should start him, though.
Yeah, you did say you should start him.
Hell yeah.
Anybody else worth noting on the receiving end this week?
Nah, DJ Moore really got all the shine. I mean, nobody had a receiving touchdown. Cam Newton had the only touchdown, and then he got benched. Because everything else was so bad.
Man, what about on the rushing side of the ball? Who took up the most carries besides Christian McCaffrey?
Cameron Newton with 3.
And then who's next in line?
Hubbard and Abdullah.
With 2?
Both had 2.
So, here we are. Trevor Hubbard.
Hubbard.
I like Trevor Hubbard. I like the offense he's playing in. I like his role. But for me, myself, I think he is only usable for one more week. Because after the bye week this week, he plays Atlanta. And then after that, it's Bucks, Saints, and then Buffalo, I believe.
Mm.
So those are 3 top rushing defense.
Yeah.
And he got 2 touches when a game they were getting skunked, and they didn't pass the ball to him either. So I don't really trust Trevor Hubbard moving forward.
Hubbard.
If you're looking for a 1 week, well, you should roster him. I feel like you should roster him.
Sure.
But I don't feel like, compared to everybody else that's pickable this week, I feel like he should be lower on your list. Just based off of his matchups for the next few weeks.
Yeah.
But moving aside from that, we'll talk about the Dolphins. Tua and Jalen Waddle definitely had the connection.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle, wide receiver number 1. We'll put a little asterisk next to that. Cordell Patterson technically was running back, wide receiver number 1 this week.
Yeah.
But I feel like, you know what? We'll classify him as a running back.
Yeah.
Because most people see him as a running back. So, Jalen Waddle, wide receiver number 1. That was my boy, start of the week right here.
Yeah, start of the week.
And 24.5 fantasy points.
Yep.
You can't go wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really have an answer for him.
Miles Gaskin had a solid game too.
Yeah.
Miles Gaskin.
The 2 touchdowns really helped him.
Yeah.
Those 2 touchdowns, man.
Yeah.
They just, that Carolina defense that everybody was kind of worried about kind of just sizzled out.
Yeah, you had a right to wait. Worried like, oh, they're going to be bad, or worried like they're going to be good? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like people were kind of hyping them up.
Oh, they were hyping
throughout the season. Like, Carolina Panthers D. Oh. They have Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
Like, they're not. They're okay.
Christian McCaffrey's playing both sides.
Yeah, definitely. So Tua, how did he play?
I mean,
he had an alright game.
From a box score perspective, he had a good game, but from a fantasy perspective, he only got 16.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like the Joe Burrow. It's if you started him, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because he got you more than Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So it happens.
Yeah.
Anything else worth noting?
Anything else worth noting? I'm good.
That should be it.
Pretty dominant win for the Dolphins.
They took care of business.
Patriots, Titans.
Did we want to talk about the Patriots and Titans?
Yeah.
Sure. All right.
So, the fantasy performer of the week, Nick Folk. So he had 21 fantasy points this week. That's what helped me beat the number 1 team in the fantasy.
In the fantasy.
I beat the number 1 team, Young Gage, in our league.
Yeah.
If you're watching this, hold this for me, and count Antonio Gibson's 20 points. That's all I have to say. But when it comes to this game right here,
starting with the away team.
Starting with the away team, of course. Ryan Tannehill.
He did not do him any favors.
No, if you started Ryan Tannehill, you might be shaking a little bit.
Yeah.
Because 93 yards, a touchdown, and an INT.
I'm interested in the running backs.
Here we are with the running backs, though.
That's what
Hilliard
I'm looking at.
with 12 carries, 131 yards, and a TD.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
He had that crazy 68-yard run.
Yes.
And then Donta Foreman with 19 carries, 109 yards, and no touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Still, sheesh.
So, I want to ask you this. Who do you prefer, Sterling?
So, if for whatever reason you haven't watched the Week 13 waiver wires,
If
waiver
you
wire
haven't,
video,
then...
go watch it. But I prefer Deonta Foreman.
Okay.
Because he's going to be, it looks like he's going to be getting most of the carries.
He did get more carries.
He got
He had
19 carries in a loss.
Yeah, it's true.
19 carries in a loss.
They run the ball.
So Foreman's more of a bruiser. He's going to, they're just going to run.
He's going to tire.
Yeah.
So is he getting goal line carries?
I'm actually not sure.
That's the thing we're hoping for. Maybe they'll give him more goal line carries this week.
Mm.
Maybe they have more
They
opportunities
released
to
Peterson to
They
make room
did.
for Dontrell Hilliard. So
Yeah.
it seems like they're high on both of them.
Well, if you haven't figured,
They have a bye this upcoming week, though.
yeah,
So we won't be able to see them again until week 14, which is a little unfortunate.
it's a little hard to tell their fantasy value at the moment.
Yeah.
Because of that bye week. On the receiving side of the ball, with 95 passing yards, you're probably not expecting a whole lot.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
Especially with these receivers that they have.
yeah.
Nakeen Westbrook Akahini scored a touchdown
That's
and 25 yards, and that's about it.
that's really the only thing I'm noting.
That's the only one who. They had 11 people catch. Well, they have 11 receptions, but look at how many people had one reception.
Yeah.
It's just they're spreading the love. That's for sure, and they weren't doing it well.
Oh, Kendrick Bourne.
Oh, of course,
Kendrick Bourne had a game.
Mac Jones also had a game as well. 310 yards and 2 TDs.
Mm-hmm.
That is a game right there. Ramondre Stevenson led the backfield with 46 yards. Damian Harris, though, did have a
He
touchdown.
had a touchdown. That helped him.
And 40 yards. So that's solid.
Yep.
Mac Jones with 2 carries and 11 yards. He's going ham, man. He's going ham. Jacoby Myers, almost a 100-yard game.
Yeah.
Hey, no surprise, though. Guess what?
No touchdown.
No touchdown. That's not a surprise. Kendrick Bourne on the other end,
touchdowns.
2 touchdown game. You keep thinking that, and you can keep playing him.
He's due. He's due. I'm telling
Kendrick
you.
Bourne, 61 yards and 2 TDs. Good enough for 20.6 fantasy points.
Brandon Bolden.
I know
4
you're
for
liking that.
54.
Yeah.
I do like him. I'm telling you, he's the new James White.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I really do like Kendrick Bourne.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is just a few like game stretch. I think this is for reals.
Yeah.
I think he is. With Jacoby Myers on the other side and him on the other side, I feel like he's dominating right now.
Yeah. I was almost gonna bring him up on the waiver wire video.
You should have,
Yeah.
because
His targets from game to game are a little bit like he's not the most targeted player.
no, they fluctuate throughout games.
Yeah.
But you can tell that Mac Jones does look his way.
Yeah.
Let's see the next game.
Well, we're looking at this kind of middle category with the Eagles and the Giants 7-13. That had no fantasy relevance.
That had
Not
nothing
really.
at all.
Jalen Hurts played like a big old stinker. It was bad. He threw 4 interceptions, 3 or 4, something like that.
Yeah, he could be QB1 by the end of the year.
Hey, I'm just saying. Cordell Patterson with the 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
So that contributed for 14 of 21 points that the Falcons scored that week. And then on the Jaguars, who scored on the Jaguars, Cameron?
What? No, not play-by-play. On the Jags?
Yeah, who scored a touchdown? James Robinson.
Oh my God.
Oh, Tavon Austin!
Tavon Austin.
Let's
scored.
go. Who else scored?
Tavon Austin scored, and it says Trevor. Who else had a touchdown? Was it a defensive?
Was it a defensive touchdown?
I think it might have been. I think it might have been a defensive touchdown.
Are you spreading false news, Cameron?
No, I am not.
Are you spreading false news?
No, this is.
Trevor Lawrence does have one TD.
It
Well,
wasn't a rushing touchdown.
Nope.
Who the hell scored the touchdown?
it doesn't say.
It doesn't.
It really doesn't.
Oh my
Let's take a look
goodness.
here.
Well, go to recap
Oh yeah, it'll show us right here
in
in
Gamecast.
Gamecast.
Oh, no.
They went for 2 and then kicked 2 field goals. So
Wow.
Ha!
Typical Jaguars football, baby. Typical Jaguars football.
Yeah.
James Robinson had a solid game.
He did. I like him. He was my start of the week. It was a meh.
What do you think about these receivers here? Because we got Laviska Shenault, we got Marvin Jones. We got some guys here.
You know, this is interesting because
toss up.
I want to say this. There is one player that I do like quite a bit. His name is Laviska Shenault. I don't like...
9 targets.
You know, I want to just put this out. His team is terrible. His team is so bad. The Jaguars...
You don't say.
The Jaguars are so bad. And there is no trying to gauge where these players, how they're going to play. Because it's just, they're all so bad on that team.
Yeah.
But one thing's for sure, and it's Laviska Shenault is getting his targets. He averages like something like 8 or 9 targets a game.
He has a good target share, yeah.
He has an amazing target share. I mean, you just kind of have to hope that the volume comes with that target share, which it really hasn't. Which kind of it makes you wonder, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
They're throwing the ball his way, but that's just not getting to him. So, you know, if you're looking for kind of like maybe a little bit of a desperation flex option,
you can
Laviska
flex him.
Shenault is a good flex. In like 12 to 14 team options. In a 10-team league, if you're like hit with injuries, you could go for it. But I wouldn't necessarily suggest it.
So him or Marvin Jones?
Laviska Shenault.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over Marvin Jones.
The targets.
The targets, partially, and then he's technically their number 1 wide receiver.
Technically.
Yeah.
And then they're getting locked down almost all
And
game.
Unfortunately, Dan Arnold went down. So.
Yeah, Dan Arnold did go down with a grade 2 MCL sprain. He's expected to miss 46 weeks.
Dan Arnold was getting a lot of targets prior to this week. So he could be... There's going to be open targets there in that offense.
There are.
We'll just gloss over these Jets and Texans. The Jets won 21-14. It wasn't really...
Jets, Jets.
Nobody really stood out this game that much.
Not really. Elijah Moore had kind of a stinker with Zach Wilson back, which is unfortunate. Tyrod Taylor had a solid outing.
Yeah, okay.
I believe he had like 20 fantasy points
I'll take
around on the dot. Brandon Cooks 3 for 45.
He had a touchdown.
He had 1 touchdown.
Yeah.
David Johnson 10 for 39. Rex Burkhead actually got the most carries. He had 12 for 27.
Dude,
so there's not really anything
Not
really
a
going
good
on
day.
there.
Not a whole lot going on in that game.
Chargers Broncos.
That's a different story.
Towards the end, they were pulling away. We'll start off with the away team, and we'll get to it.
Always away team first.
So Austin Eckler 12 for 31. Not really the craziest game.
But
he did add 6 receptions for 68 yards and a touchdown.
And a touchdown.
That is
that
is what helped him a lot.
That helped his case.
And you know what helped him? It was a big long play for a touchdown that really saved this fantasy game. Because I was playing against him this week, and he caught a wheel route out of the backfield, and then it just went for a touchdown.
Yeah. Keenan Allen does what Keenan Allen does. He goes out there, he gets you like 10 to 15 points.
That's his floor right there, man. It's a very good floor.
Yeah.
Mike Williams
4 for 39.
He had 8 targets this game, which is a little bit more encouraging, to be honest. Yeah. It's a little bit more encouraging. It's a trend in the upward direction.
Jared Cook and Josh Palmer split exactly 2 receptions for 25 yards.
Did you guys see that touchdown by him though? Jared Cook. He jumped over like 3 people, bro.
Really?
Yeah. We gotta show him. We gotta show the viewers one of these days.
And then on the Denver Broncos side of the football.
So Bridgewater did go out with the injury halfway through the game.
Indeed.
Drew Lock stepped in.
Only threw 7 passes.
Did Drew Lock things.
Yeah.
Did
Do you
Drew Lockean things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know why he barely threw the ball? Because it was a running game for the Broncos, baby.
Yes, indeed.
And do you know who had the most fantasy points out of the backfield last week for the Broncos?
Mm-hmm.
Javonte Williams, baby.
Mm-hmm.
That touchdown did help him.
Let's hear his.
Well, that reception helped him.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I forgot.
He had a 42-yard
That's
reception.
right.
That
He led the team in receiving on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
So I even have
about that.
I even have a whole little column. We call this the wide receiver tight end dumpster fire for the Broncos. Sutton with 2.7 points. Noah Fant with 2.7 points. Tim Patrick with 3.6. And Jerry Jeudy with all 3.5 points. So, you know how much they're paying that man? You know how much they're paying that man? How much they're paying that man?
We call this the Denver Broncos wide receiver dumpster fire.
So, if you guys haven't heard, they're paying Cortland Sutton big money.
What's the
Tim Patrick big money?
I was gonna say, what's the combined money? Do we know?
Oh, it's up there.
It's like half their cap space.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, it was not the best game. That's for
Oh
me,
my goodness. The Broncos wide receiver dumpster fire.
I do like Javonte Williams quite a bit, as always. You guys know how me and Sterling feel about that one.
I was gonna say, if you might be good with either Melvin or Javonte, because if the passing game is gonna be that bad,
it is true. Then
they're probably gonna rely on both Melvin and Javonte. So you might be good with either one.
Well, I don't know this week.
At this point,
I feel like I want to start Javonte over Melvin Gordon if I have him on the same team, but like we're saying, you can start him on either team and you'll be just A-okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it for this football game.
Yeah, not a whole crazy lot.
Should we go to Rams Packers, because that was the most anticipated
So I'd
game.
like to congratulate the Los Angeles Rams on no win November. Congratulations, guys.
Yeah, let's give them a round of applause.
So you guys lost 4 straight football games, or did they have a bye?
It
might have been
3.
I think
3.
You guys lost 3 football games this November.
Yeah.
You guys are going through it, Rams fans.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Matthew Stafford, an amazing game.
Yeah.
That's for dang sure.
Even with the INT, it was a great game.
Yeah, even with the INT.
Mm-hmm. I mean, receiving too. I mean, Cooper Kupp. I mean, Van Jefferson.
Odell Beckham. That he put a little bit of an exclamation mark on that one.
Yes, he did. Indeed.
I still feel like
Stafford did fumble the ball too.
That is true. That is
he
minus
fumbled,
2 fantasy
fumbled
points.
and had along with the interception.
Minus 4 fantasy points.
Jeez, so that's 6.
Darrell Henderson had a
receiving touchdown.
He did have a receiving touchdown.
Oh,
that did save his day.
That saved his day for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Jefferson, Beckham, Henderson, all good games. Some great games.
Those are your every week starters.
Yeah.
On the Rams.
And then Packers, Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
he was number 3. He had 31 points.
He did what we kind of expected him to do.
He had 31 fantasy points.
Yeah.
So what do you?
And he had the Cheezer touchdown.
Well, so
it was Aaron Jones' first game back.
We did kind of gloss over it last video.
We didn't expect much.
We didn't really expect a whole lot from Aaron Jones this week. We kind of expected limited snaps, hope for a touchdown, like RB2. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I didn't really see a whole lot coming from him this week. He is coming off of a sprained knee. You know, I think it's a little bit of time mixed into it as well. Before he starts getting his regular touches. But we do expect it to go up. Yeah, that is for sure. He's not going to hold that little share in that backfield.
A.J. Dillon did get 20 carries, and he did have a receiving touchdown to go with that as well.
That helps his day.
That helped his day as well. Devonte Adams, he did what you expect Devonte Adams to do. He didn't have a touchdown, but he had a lot of yards. Randall Cobb, I mean, other than that fumble, he he kind of turned back the clock.
Turn back the clock.
He had 4 for 95 with a touchdown.
So how do you feel about your man Valdez-Scantling, Sterling?
He's just Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
He's interesting.
That's just
right?
who he is, bro.
He's interesting.
He's up in
We've
the
seen
air.
this throughout his whole career. Well, he'll have a big game,
Then
and then
okay,
he'll
He'll
just
be like,
roll out.
and then we'll be like, oh,
oh,
Yeah.
oh, and then he'll do this.
yeah.
Same with all these guys. Alan Lazard, the same thing for him.
Yeah.
He's a good receiver too.
He is. They both are. It's just that in this offense, how sustainable is the number 2 option?
No.
And who is the number 2 option?
It's not.
Who is it?
It's
Nobody.
Randall Cobb
We don't
from
know.
the looks of it.
It's just a big old mush.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Valdez-Scantling is supposed to be the number 2.
That
right?
is true.
He's supposed to be the number 2. Yeah, so Packers, Aaron Rodgers, A.J. Dillon, Devonte Adams, and Randall Cobb. Those were the guys.
I mean, in this, it was a both high-powered offense game.
Yes.
So you were kind of hoping for a matchup like this, like almost 40 points scored for the Packers and almost 30 scored for the Rams.
Pretty much.
So it was a big fantasy performance on both sides.
A lot of points to go around.
Oh,
in round
definitely.
one. Okay. Did we want to talk about Minnesota and San Fran?
Do. So, I'm just going to skip straight to the running backs.
Let's do it.
Unfortunately, Dalvin Cook sustained an injury.
Torn labrum.
Oof.
Yeah. Torn labrum and a dislocated shoulder.
Yeah.
So,
Damn.
Alexander Madison, is it his time?
It's always this time, baby.
Yeah, it is.
He did have a touchdown.
It's always
He
Alexander
did have a
Alexander
touchdown.
Madison time. He's representing San
Do you guys
Bernardino.
know? Okay, I
Hell
was about to ask.
yeah.
Represent. He's doing it for SB.
He's doing it for SB. For the IE.
Man, Justin Jefferson with 4 receptions, 83 yards. Dalvin Cook, 64 yards out of the backfield. Adam Thielen with 62 yards and and 2 TDs.
tutties. Yep.
Man, those two tutties are nice right there.
That beefed up his point total.
Kirk Cousins played well.
Yeah. First cousins.
First
Cousins.
First cousins. Alexander Madison.
So, what do you make of Alexander Madison moving forward?
Well, you'll be very, very lucky to even find him in your fantasy wire to begin with.
Yeah.
Well, he's only 53% rostered, which I thought he would be a lot more than that.
I thought so too. I don't know but if you're playing in any sort of deeper league, you probably can expect that he's long gone. He probably was drafted in some deeper
drafted?
leagues.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Because people use him as like an insurance back.
Yeah, handcuffs.
Handcuff. It's a handcuff back.
Okay. Is that it? Oh no, the 49ers.
Debo Samuel did also get injured as well.
Unfortunately, and he had 6 carries for 66 yards.
I know.
With 2 touchdowns.
His groin got hurt that game. And it's crazy because Elijah Mitchell got 27 carries last game.
Yes, he had a monster game.
133 yards for a TD.
Yeah.
Along with 5 for 35 through the air.
So how many fantasy points did he have? 25?
Somewhere around that range.
Man, Elijah Mitchell, you probably got him off the waiver wire earlier this year.
Yeah.
He's lining it up. He came back from that broken finger and he fit right back into it and he blew up.
Brandon Ayuk continuing a little solid streak that he's on right now. 3 for 91.
That's solid. You just check with the next 37 yards.
Yeah.
He's a beast.
Yeah. That's about all.
Jimmy G.
He did Jimmy G things.
He did Jimmy G things.
He did.
Yeah. So that's that.
I think do you want to talk about this one or skip it over?
We'll just glaze over it real fast. Sunday night football.
Sunday night football.
It was a mid game.
It was.
It was mid.
Baker
Jarvis
Mayfield.
Landry 6 for 111.
Let's go.
10 targets.
Who caught the touchdown? Njoku caught the touchdown.
Wow.
Okay. That's one of those plays that you're like, oh, you're definitely hoping for a touchdown.
Yeah.
That is the definition.
Yeah, basically. Backfield pretty much split carries.
Nobody
Hunt
really.
had 7.
Nobody
Chubb
really
had
played that well.
Yeah, nobody really played well.
Nick Chubb had
A
4.9
lot of
fantasy
people-
points.
For the receivers, a lot of people were hoping Donovan Peoples-Jones was going to start to break out. It hasn't looked like that so far.
No.
I'm not going to count him out yet, but it hasn't looked like it so far.
I don't think anybody besides the running backs are really sustainable on this
Yeah.
Cleveland offense.
I'd agree.
And on the Baltimore side of the ball,
football, Lamar Jackson always has like that one game a season.
Yeah.
where he
Where
throws
he
4 interceptions.
Yeah. It was not good.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, he rushed the ball.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
you know?
that helped him.
Devonta Freeman.
Devonta Freeman still leading the backfield in carries.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really equate to that much though.
Mark Andrews.
That
4 for 65
with
and
a touchdown. We've officially moved Mark Andrews into that very limited list of reliable
say-
tight ends.
Yeah, he's top 5 this year.
Yeah.
Pretty easily.
Will we stretch it to 3?
No.
You wouldn't put him 3 behind Waller and Kelsey?
I'd say it's
For
close.
for this year alone.
I'd say it's probably close. Yeah.
I'd say
He's making a run for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think by next season, I think he should be there.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
He's going to get drafted very early next year.
Yes, for sure.
You know, this year is almost coming to a close, and all I can think about is, shoot, who am I drafting
Who
next
am I
year?
drafting
though?
next year?
Because these are some crucial questions that you want to be asking yourself nowadays.
So Mark Andrews is the tight end 2 on the year.
There you go.
Dalton Schultz, tight end 3.
And then Waller and then Hawk.
Injuries have held back Waller, though.
Yeah.
Zach Ertz at what?
Dawson Knox, Gesicki. Zach Ertz, what is that? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, tight end 9.
Tight end 9. Kyle Pitts, tight end number 10.
Pat Freiermuth, tight end 11, and Dallas Goddard,
Dallas
tight end 12.
Goddard.
Let's go. Let's not even talk about him. He had 0.5 fantasy points. He had 1 reception that went nowhere. Zach Ertz, though. I'm liking some Zach Ertz.
Yeah, he was on a bye.
He was on a bye.
Yeah.
So I had no choice but to start Dallas.
He dominated.
He dominated?
He dominated the bye week.
And
All right,
then
so our last
final
matchup.
game, Monday Night Football.
Oh, boy.
happened last night.
Yep.
Away team first.
Away team first. So Russell Wilson finally had a bounce back game.
Yes.
Which
You're just waiting for it.
should have because the football team gives up the number 1 most fantasy points.
And on top of that, he's
The
Russell.
football team.
No, he's Russell Wilson.
He also led the team in rushing yards.
Let's go.
Alex Collins, dude, they need to find a new running back. They need to find a new running back.
You don't say.
Yeah, Alex Collins, I'd say he's almost close enough to droppable range.
He is
getting-
droppable.
He's
droppable,
He's
bro.
getting there.
He's the RB1. His situation can't get better.
No, he has
He's
a
the
good situation.
RB1 on this football team.
On this football
Nobody's
team.
even close.
And then the only
not.
thing worth noting on the receiving end was Tyler Lockett.
Well,
Yeah.
Gerald Everett had a solid game for tight end, 5 for 37 and a
Yeah,
touchdown.
for a touch. Yeah,
Swain had a touchdown
a
as
touchdown
well.
as well.
So Metcalf got
DK
targeted
Metcalf,
once for
that's
13
tough.
yards.
And-
Jeez.
That one target was actually no. He had 4 targets.
But
But his
reception.
first catch was with 1 minute to go in the 4th quarter.
Jeez.
So he was basically a non-factor the
You know
entire
what's
game.
crazy?
That's really tough.
I played DK Metcalf earlier this year on fantasy, and he had a Monday night game, and he needed, I think, 11 fantasy points to win, and like he hasn't done anything since that week. Dude. It's just my luck that he would pop off that 1 week against the Saints. Honestly, he caught a touchdown on the first play, and then that was all the points that he needed to win. It's
on
just
the
my luck.
first play.
On the first play. But on the Washington football team side, Tyler Heinecke, 223 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Antonio Gibson,
29 for 111,
that's workhorse back-esque.
along with 7 for 35 through the air.
Sheesh. Those receptions came in so clutch, man. For our league, he had 20 fantasy points. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
Nowadays, that's all I've been looking for from Antonio Gibson these last few weeks.
Pretty much.
I mean, was his shin injury that bad that he couldn't perform? Do you think that's what it was that was holding him back, his shin injury?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, because now that he's healthy or perceived to be healthy,
Perceived.
we've seen that the carries in the backfield have gone his direction.
Oh, definitely.
Jared Patterson had 1 carry in this game for 0 yards.
Yeah.
J.D. McKissick still is getting work, but it's not what it once was, where it was basically almost a split.
And I'm almost certain J.D. McKissick
He had 2 touchdowns.
did get injured.
This is Gibson.
Oh, it's Gibson.
Yeah. J.D. McKissick, yeah, you're correct. He suffered a neck injury in Monday's 17-15 win over the Seahawks. So,
If McKissick is out, that greatly heightens Gibson
Antonio
force.
Gibson is now the guy on that team.
Yeah.
He's the football guy.
So, like I was saying, and I think this was like maybe 2-3 videos ago, I was like, you know what? We just kind of have to wait and see his value at the end of the season.
mm-hmm.
Because he came out of the bye week, and we were kind of like, before his bye week, he played subpar.
Yeah.
Like, no lie about it, he played subpar.
Yeah.
And then after the bye week, we were kind of just like, you know what? Let's see how it comes out on the other side. And they're liking him, then they're using him.
Mm-hmm.
So, does that... He's heightening his draft stock for next year, that's for sure, with games like this.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
On the receiving end,
Terry
Terry
McLaurin.
McLaurin.
Jaden McKissick caught the only
He
touch
had-
out of the backfield.
That helped him tremendously.
Oh,
that
definitely.
receiving touchdown helped him tremendously.
Well, he also had a rushing touchdown.
He also
He did. Those 2 touchdowns.
If you were looking from a big game from J.D. McKissick, the receiving touchdown helped him. Yeah, I mean, Terry McLaurin, leading receiver, we kind of expected that.
Yeah.
Deandre Carter, close second.
Yeah.
Curtis Samuel was only targeted once and caught it once for 9 yards.
It's a little unfortunate.
Logan Thomas, though.
3 for 31. He had a touchdown overturned.
He did have that.
Damn, that sucks.
So, yeah.
He's back to his... I think he's a tight end 1.
Yeah, top 12 for sure.
Top 12.
Top 12 for sure.
So, before we let you guys go, we do like to read off
Quick recap.
Like we're...
a quick little stats leaders for this week.
Let you guys go. They're in class.
So,
Well, we're presenting to them, technically.
Before
Are we not?
Let you guys go.
Are we not technically presenting to our audience? We are. So, let's continue and put the factory aside.
All right.
our stat leaders.
Our stat leaders.
As of week 13, Derek Carr is leading the NFL in passing yards.
Woo!
With 3,414 yards. Tom
Let's
Brady's
go.
a close second with 3,403.
Did we mention he was 44 years old?
Did we
I
mention?
actually think we forgot about that.
Did you mention he's an old man?
Yeah.
So
But that's my boy Derek Carr.
the rushing leaders for this week are Justin Taylor with 1,200. Justin Taylor. He had 1,205 yards. And then next in line is Derrick Henry with 937 yards. And then the next active player is Joe Mixon with 924.
Okay, quick question. If Derrick Henry was healthy,
Mm-hmm.
obviously his team would have had a much better shot next week.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. He's still number 2 in rushing.
That is definitely facts.
Do you think he would have been the leading candidate for MVP?
If
Yeah.
continued the
If
season
he
the way
was
he
healthy,
was,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say it's almost kind of a shoo-in at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want me to read?
The receiving.
Yes, Cooper Kupp with 1,237. That leads the NFL, I assume. Yes,
And then Devonte Adams.
Devonte Adams. Devonte Adams with 1,083 receiving yards. And we still got time to go. And these guys are already over 1,000.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are just studs.
How much is that extra week gonna increase people's stats?
A lot.
You
A
think
decent
so?
amount.
A decent amount.
I feel like most of the records we have now are most likely going to be broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Single season records for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
The touchdown leaders. Jonathan Taylor with 16, Austin Eckler with 14, and James Conner with 13.
Yeah, huh? Now, who's hurt?
CMC, Dalvin Cook, and Dan Arnold.
Yes.
Yeah. We pretty much already talked
Yeah,
about
we kind of
those
talked
guys.
about those in the recap. And I think we already... Oh, no. Okay.
This is the top 5 right here.
Yes.
For this week.
One, Leonard Fournette.
Number 1.
Number 1. Did we say Jonathan Taylor? Or did weren't we saying isn't Jonathan Taylor gonna lead in points this week?
We said it's a possibility.
It's a possibility. Yeah, he was like the guy to look out for.
Yeah. Leonard came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Lenny for sure. Josh Allen with 35 exactly, which was big considering it looked sketchy at first.
It looked a little sketchy.
It looked a little sketchy at first. Aaron Rodgers with 31. Dakota Rain Prescott with 30.50 in a losing effort.
And then Joe Mixon
I just got to remind you Cowboy fans of that.
And then Joe Mixon was right there in 5th place with 30 fantasy points.
Yep.
And then the Miami D, let's not even gloss over that. They had 23 fantasy points.
That's crazy.
For a defense,
yes.
And then the surprise player of the week for me was Kendrick Bourne with 20.6 fantasy points.
And then on the kicking end, the special teams end, Nick Folk and Daniel Carlson? Damn.
Both with 20 points.
Both with 20. And then the bottom of the bottom.
Shall we discuss the bottom of the bottom?
We kind of did, but let's just quickly do it. Dallas Goddard, not what you expect from the number 1 tight end on that team. But can we kind of attribute that to Jalen Hurts, though?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say so, too.
So, we're going to run through these.
Yeah. Higbee.
0.8 fantasy points.
Jeff Wilson.
1.2.
Aaron Jones.
2.3.
Kind of expected, though.
Kind of expected.
And then the Denver Broncos wide receiver dumpster fire.
Nobody put up over 5 fantasy points.
Yeah.
Dumpster fire it is.
Mike Evans had a very uncharacteristic game. Every once in a while he'll have one of those games where he scores under 10, but it's not. It's never that bad, though.
No.
Chubbard.
That's Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb. I didn't know they were 2 different people.
Nick Chubb with 4.9 fantasy points.
Yeah, that's about it, I would say. I mean, we kind of went on. Did we talk about a whole lot of mid?
We kind of glossed over a whole lot of mid.
We pretty much covered it all. Yeah.
So, thank you guys for watching our Week
12 recap.
Our Week 12 recap. We hope you guys have a good day.
Yeah.
Go hit all that fun stuff below. We'll see you guys soon with another video.
Yeah.
We're yet to know what that is, but
we'll see. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we might do like I'm maybe more interested in like a playoff coming up.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Strength of schedule kind of thing. Or we'll talk about some players. We'll come up with some ideas. But thank you guys for watching. But for us, we're out.